Welcome to Dark Moon Cards and Games. Check out the link in the description for all of your Pokemon trading card game needs. Okay guys, this is Joel with Dark Moon Cards and Games. Bringing this match out of order, we wanted to show the finals first, but this is the one of the top 4 matches that led to the finals, which we already posted. This was from our Fincastle League Cup this past Sunday. This was a matchup between Seth Poore, who you did see in the finals, not that we're giving away the ending here, playing the greens Reshizard against Harless, playing the ability Reshiram Charizard. Wanted to show some of this match because it does showcase the differences between the two. And a short version of the differences here, of course the greens exploration version that Seth plays. Greens is basically your item search. Both decks do play a mix of items that are important to the deck. Greens is basically the way that you pick and choose what you get in his version, versus the ability version the Hunter plays. That role is taken over by Jirachi. Jirachi, with its ability Stellar Wish, lets you look at your top 5 cards, pick a trainer you find there, which often is an item. It does let you get a supporter as well if you choose or if you need. Have not gone through Hunter's list to see, but most of these ability versions are playing just one supporter. Kind of focus on Welder, and using Pal Pad to put Welders back in so they can just keep using Welder. Everything else is usually item based. And the other main difference between the two decks is the ability to gust or catch something for knockouts. The greens version plays Custom Catcher, which you do have to play 2 at once to achieve that. So basically you're locked into doing that just 2 times a game at best. Sometimes if one is prized, or if you have to use a Custom Catcher to draw out of a bad hand, you might only be able to pull that off 1 time. And in Hunter's version, the ability version, that is achieved through Ninetales. It does not play Custom Catchers. Ninetales, with its ability 9 Temptations, you discard 2 fire energies from your hand, and then you catch the target of your choice. So it is possible to do that more than twice. It does run a lot of energy, has lots of ways to get energy back. Get it out of the deck with Giant Hearth, get it in your hand with Fire Crystal. So it is a little more selective on what it's able to target. And I guess the other 2 main differences to point out in this matchup as well. The Charizard tries to protect against that Ninetales with the tool Stealthy Hood, which stops the effect of an opponent's ability. So if they try to use 9 Temptations to grab a Charizard with the hood, they can't grab it. And then of course the other card that kind of plays heavily in Hunter's list, or I guess we should say 2, but the one I was getting ready to reference is the Dene GX. The Dene gives you some draw power that the greens version does not have. Plus and minuses of that is it does put a 2 prize, fairly fragile target on the side, 160 HP, the Dene. But like I said, in matches like this one, you generally are not targeting that unless you're just trying to close out a game. The other ability-based Pokemon that is on the side of Hunter's deck is the Heatran GX, which we saw in the Juniors match we showed earlier. It can come down and pull some energies off of Reshiram Charizard, especially a damaged one, and come up and take a knockout. It's a good attacker in some other matchups, like in Giratina. Things where 130 damage carries a little bit more weight than it does in this one. But it'd be the core of really the differences between the 2. So in the interest of time, we're just going to show the 3rd and final game of this match. Game 1 went very kind of decidedly in Seth's favor, the greens Reshiram Charizard. Basically, in that game, he 2-shotted Hunter's Reshiram Charizard GX to take 3 prizes, then switched to Volcanion to take a 4th prize, on a Jirachi, and then was able to custom catcher up a Dedenne to take his last 2. That happened over the course of about 16, 17 minutes. Pretty uneventful match, really. The game 2 is a much longer match. It kind of went the other way. Hunter had the advantage pretty much all the way through that match, and I think it played down to just 1 prize card left, I believe, in that one. I know one of the early factors in that is Seth's Stealthy Hood was prized, so Hunter was able to catch up that Reshiram Charizard, knock it out. Late in the match, Seth made a gameplay error. I think actually looked at his deck on a Pokegear. So I basically performed a search. Game was pretty much over at that point anyway, so I think it was a 2 prize card loss that would have happened had it would have mattered in the game, but that basically ended the game. So we'll save another long stretch of playing there just to get to that end, and then we will pick it up here with the 3rd and final game. You can see in this 3rd game, because Seth took the loss the round before, he chose to go first. Opened his tag team Reshiram Charizard against Lone Jirachi for Hunter. And the Pokegear for Welder. Haven't had a chance to see his hand here yet, but assuming he has a fire or 2 already in hand. So Welder 2, draw 3, be able to get that 3rd attachment on his first turn. This is, I think, as we discussed in the final match, I don't think he got this start in either game against Logan. This is the kind of start you want with the Greens version, where you just want to go straight into a Charizard and get it loaded as quickly as possible. Acrobite, toss to Greens. Attach for his turn, and that's going to be it. That's really all you need at this point on an opening turn. Has him set to fully charge the Reshiram Charizard's GX move if he needs to. Hunter get down the Heat Factory. Second Jirachi in play, gonna communicate in. Looked like that was Ninetales going in to get his own Reshizard out. One attachment for his turn. Welder, so he is keeping pace with Seth there. Welder got his 3 energy attachments on his first turn. Communicate in the other Charizard. Don't know if we'll go to Dedenne or Vulpix. I guess depending on what else he has in his hand. But and mentioned this several times in these videos, you always want to go through and try to get counts on things as early as you can, which is like what Hunter was doing. Did get the Vulpix off of the communication, gonna Cherish Ball back Charizard that he just sent in. And actually tosses the Charizard with the Dedenne, so it did a change for 6. Pretty standard strategy with this deck. You get the first knockout with Reshiram Charizard and then can survive a knockout, a return knockout of your own. Follow up with a Turtonator. Get that down. You can burn energies anywhere off your field at a 50 damage apiece. So you can charge up that big knockout off Reshiram Charizard, follow it up on the turn after that with Turtonator, catch take out 2 tag teams that way. That is a 2-turn game win if you can pull that off. But that would likely be the thinking behind tossing this second Reshiram Charizard. Back to Seth. He used the Heat Factory, which serves both of them there. He already had it in hand, so he would have been able to do it if Hunter had not put it into play. Definitely not a matchup where you really want to hold anything. Just want to be as aggressive as you can. Try to stay one step ahead of your opponent, because that's very small margins for error in these matchups. You're going to play the Fiery Flint. Just searching out 4 fire energies from his deck after discarding any 2 cards. Looks like he tossed a Fire Crystal and a Power Plant. Sort of the situation where, at least in my view of these decks, where Ninetales is more attractive to me anyway. He needs to Welder here to get to that 6 energy count to be able to use Double Blaze GX. But when you Welder, unless you draw into your custom catchers, you can't get them. Greens allows you to get them at any point, but you can, one support or turn, you've got to pick and choose. You can pull that off in the ability version. Gonna bench that Reshiram Charizard, the second one. Stealthy Hood it. And Welder to the benched Reshiram Charizard. So you get choices on Acrobike or Switch, and I can't tell if that was Energy Switch or Tag Switch. Looked like it was a Tag Switch. So not much choice here. Has to Outrage does not knock out a Jirachi, so you have to attach that 4th and massively overkill the Jirachi. So he uses Flare Strike. Takes the first prize, but is sitting there pretty vulnerable at this point to Hunter's own Charizard. So there's the Welder for 2. Got the Escape Board, so he can get that Jirachi out of his way. Attachment to Charizard, so he will get that 6th energy, 2 Double Blaze, and 1-shot this Reshiram Charizard tag team of Seth's. But I'll play out the rest of his hand first. Communicated in to get Victini. Victini's interesting in this deck as well. He's 2 energies, he could do 20 damage times the amount of energy you have in your discard pile, and then you shuffle all that energy back in. So it can hit some pretty large numbers, especially in this ability version, because it does toss a lot more energy. We'll fill up that 5th and final bench spot with Heatran, which all the energy Hunter has on his board, if he can survive being one-shotted by Seth, then that Heatran can come in and salvage some energy. Make Seth have to pick who he's going to deal with. Retreat with the Escape Board, and we'll Double Blaze GX for the knockout. not in a spot where Seth can return the KO here. He's only got two energies to his Reshiram Charizard. At best, he can get 3 on there this turn. So looking, the Flare Strike is basically what's left to go back and forth in this match between the 2 tag teams. I think if our judge was standing right by here, he'd be telling Seth to make a play, take an action, going a little over the time to contemplate your hand. But Hunter is experienced enough and been at this long enough. I guess he knows when to step in and make that happen as well. So he's going to go ahead and play his greens, get 2 items. At this point, he's definitely in defense mode for those stamps. Stamps are probably the thing to lean on to try to get back into this match. He has not used his GX move here as well. He could just attach 1 energy and do that for 200 damage, but it's not something you want to burn unless you absolutely have to. On this turn, I believe he's going to have to. He's playing green, so that negates the opportunity to play a welder. So he's only going to get 1 energy attachment. Going to play the stamp. So watching Seth's hand there, never really saw what Hunter had from his prizes, but again, does not matter at this point as they go in, and he will be cut down to a hand of 3 cards. See, Seth's hand is getting increasingly large. Don't know if Hunter has access to a stamp or not. I'm sure he's cheering for the same. Plays the double custom catcher to get that Heatran, and will burn his GX move to take a 2 prize knockout. So really the best, probably really the best choice to have made there, is to stay in this back and forth match. Gets him down to 3 prizes, evens the matchup. Gives him a few options of what to pursue here at this point. He can try to take some single prize knockouts with Volcanion. This Hunter does have several small HP targets on the board. Or he can just work on wearing down that 1 Reshiram Charizard. It was a little glary there. That was a pal pad from Hunter to put 2 welders back in. Like I mentioned before the match, seems to be the only supporter 4 copies of welder in that deck. And like I said, you just keep on spamming those guys, getting them back, reusing them. So evolved to his Ninetales and knocked out the stadium with Giant Hearth. Gonna discard a Hoopa and get 2 fire energies off of the stadium. And gonna welder to that Victini we were just mentioning. Pinch 1 more Jirachi. A little extra protection against stamp in the future there, I guess, depending on what happens from here. not sure what to do. Look at the discard pile again. And just double checking what he can hit for off of that Victini. It's like 4 energies in there, so he would hit for 80 damage. Put those 4 back. I'm gonna do that. It looks like from Victini, try to bring that Charizard's HP down to where it can be taken out with a Flare Strike. Flare Strike hits for 230 damage. That's got that Reshiram Charizard tag team down to 190 HP remaining. So definitely within range. You know, we sort of gave away the ending here. Speaking of it earlier, Seth did get to the finals. You watch the match at this point, you sort of look at how heavily this seemed to be going Hunter's way early, and that just pretty much negated it right there. I played 2 giant potions. They heal 50 damage each from the actives, so just negated that turn of damage from Victini. The Fire Crystal back 3 fire energy from his discard pile. Gonna touch that 4th and eventually gonna Flare Strike here, we believe. Looking through one more time just to verify that hand has not changed. Play Pokegear. I don't know, I'm excused. Not playing Pokegear. He tossed that Pokegear with the Giant Hearth. Well, a flashback to what ended the last game there. Looks like there was just 1 energy to take. At this point, it looks like he has as many cards in his hand as he does have left in his deck. So. Playing greens to, I would assume, definitely get a stamp. There's the stamp, and I'm gonna take the other greens, it looks like. Did play the stamp again to keep Hunter down to that 3-card hand, try to keep the game under control here. Down to the point we pretty much have to attack to end this very, very long turn. So we'll Flare Strike for 230, another massive overkill, taking out the Victini. Hunter's going to open by using the Giant Hearth to toss Cherish Ball and get 2 fire. Even if he doesn't need the fire at this point, helps him thin the deck a little bit, get a maybe better choice off of his first Stellar Wish. He took Cherish Ball, looked like he played it and failed it. He got that Victini over in the Lost Zone where it belongs. Another player has access to their GX move at this point. So basically, we're down there hitting for a max of 230. Looks like Hunter's trying to set up what he just had going last turn to just get some damage to bring the Charizard down to one-shot range for his Reshiram Charizard tag team. So we'll go that route again and attack with Ninetales for, I believe, 90 damage. It's one we'll have to go and look at. Can't even recall the name of his attack, but yeah, hits for 90 damage, no other effects. Let's get it back within range one more time. I think from what we saw with this list in the finals, it does not look like it plays mixed herbs. I believe it plays the full ration of giant or great potions. He can heal that damage off, but either doesn't have them, or I don't know if he saw that when he looked earlier. So I'm gonna welder to his Volcanion. Attach for turn to his Reshiram Charizard, which at least lets that Volcanion activates his attack to go from 50 to, I believe it hits for 110 if you have more than 4 energies in play. So played Reset Stamp again, and puts Hunter back to that 3-card hand once more. And we'll attack the Volcanion, take the knockout, and keep chipping away here. Hunter just lost his means to catch and finish off that Reshiram Charizard. So with a Stellar Wish, he will take a Welder. Gonna have to bite the bullet here, I guess. Come up and attack with Flare Strike. Takes him down to 2 prize cards. Has enough damage on his Reshiram Charizard to Outrage, which may be what he's going for there. Plays the greens down, takes a Custom Catcher and a Power Plant. I believe we've already seen he has the other Custom Catcher in his hand, so with just 1 prize card left, he can play these 2 and grab a Jirachi. Looks like, yeah, I think he singled out the Jirachi. Hunter realized that's game, and that is match. So this is how he and Hunter's match worked out. Let's set up the final match with Seth and Logan playing Pikarom, which if you want to see how that turned out, you can check that video out as well. This is a pretty good illustration, I think, of how these 2 decks play back and forth. Don't know if I guess it's kind of an opinion based on which one is your favorite. I personally like the ability one more. I've heard a lot of people say if you like the ability one, just play Mewbox, but the Charizard can't be shut off with a Power Plant. So there's lots of opinions on the merits of all these decks. but good third and final match between them. Close game down to the final moments there. So that was our final recorded match from this weekend's Cup in Fincastle. We hope you enjoyed the matches we were able to bring you. We enjoyed this is our first attempt shooting and editing some videos for match play. I guess in the meantime we may bring you maybe a featured match or two from some of our league meetings. See if we can get some more content up. Maybe show you something that a little bit different than these main kind of top tier decks that are being played at the moment. We also have some Japanese product openings coming your way shortly, so be sure to check back and see what we have to offer there. Let us know how you like everything, and please subscribe. Be sure to like us below and come see us at a show near you. Thanks for watching.